The brief commentary on Sura As-Saff. Interpretation of the 3 verse of As-Saff. It is reported that Abdullah Salam said, "We were sitting with a group of companions of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and were talking, when one of us said, 'If we knew which of the deeds Allah loves the most, then we will certainly would have done it.' Then Allah Almighty sent down the verses. Allah praises what is in the heavens and what is on the earth. He is the mighty, the wise. O those who believe! Why do you say things you don't do? Great is the hatred of Allah that you say what you do not do, to the end of the surah. And the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, read it to us from beginning to end. Narrated by Ad-Darimi. It was also transmitted by Ahmad, At-Tirmizi, and others. The brief commentary on Surah Al-Juma. Interpretation of the 9 verse of Al-Juma. Abu Hurairah reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, "Whoever bathed on Friday as it is supposed to bathe after sexual defilement, and then went to the mosque, it was as if he had sacrificed a camel. He who set off at the 2nd hour seemed to have sacrificed a cow. He who set off at the 3rd hour seemed to have sacrificed a horned ram. The one who set off at the 4th hour was as if he had sacrificed a hen, and the one who set off at the 5th hour was as if he had sacrificed an egg. When the Imam comes out, the angels will come to listen to the reminder." This hadith was narrated by Ahmad, Al-Bukhari, Muslim, At-Tirmizi, Abu Dawud, and Nasai, and others. Interpretation of the 11th verse of Al-Juma. It is reported that Jabir Abdullah said, "Once, when we were in prayer with the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, a caravan arrived with food, and people rushed to it. Only 12 people remained next to the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and then the verse was sent down. When they saw trade or fun, they dispersed, rushing to her, and left you standing during the Friday sermon." This hadith was narrated by Ahmad, Al-Bukhari, Muslim, At-Tirmizi, and others. The brief commentary on Surah Al-Munafikun. Interpretation of the 8th verse of Al-Munafikun. It is reported that Zayd Arqam said, "I took part in a military campaign against Muraysai and heard Abdullah Ubay say, 'Do not spend anything on those who are near the Messenger of Allah until they leave him. When we return to Medina, the mighty among us will certainly drive out the despicable from there.' I conveyed these words to either my uncle or Umar, and he reported this to the Prophet. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. He called me to him, and I told him about it, after which the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, sent for Abdullah Ubay and his comrades. Then they swore that they did not say this, and the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, did not believe me, but them. Then a sadness came over me that I had never felt before. I was sitting at home, and my uncle told me, 'You tried to ensure that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, considered you a liar and hated you. But then Allah Almighty sent down a surah. When the hypocrites come to you, and then the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, sent for me, read it to me and said, Verily, Allah confirmed your rightness, O Zayd.' This hadith was narrated by Ahmad, Al-Bukhari, Muslim, At-Tirmizi, and others.